sorry this vlog is a little bit overdue. I hope you guys enjoyed the last one featuring my parents in Shanghai. This blog is also about my parents' stay here, but about the long weekend trip we took to the capital of Beijing. It was a bit of an ordeal getting there. I think we arrived at 2 in the morning to our hotel. Luckily, the hotel was in a great location, but unfortunately, the weather wasn't so great. Hey guys.
Hi.
So it is Friday, April 20th, and we're in Beijing. This is day one. Unfortunately, it's a pretty shitty day as far as weather goes. Really foggy and cloudy and rainy on top of it. And the worst part is that weather.com is a liar because they said it was going to be 79 and sunny, which is clearly not the case. So,
and there are many disadvantages to bad weather. For example, fashion disadvantages. Erica?
Got my shoes.
You should be like Erica, signing out.
Now this is not the way Erica looked this morning when we left the hotel.
I did
she had a beautiful sundress on, very
and sandals,
nice.
And then I realized that was not gonna fly. And then we've walked about 6 times back and forth from the hotel because I forgot I had to change, and then we forgot the umbrellas, and then I had to put the running shoes on, and now the Forbidden City is closed.
That's why they call it forbidden.
But we had some good pork dumplings for lunch and some nice candied fruit.
Oh, some serious candied fruit. So we'll be back on Sunday to check out the Forbidden City, and hopefully the weather will be a little better.
Yep.
Okay.
We'll keep you posted.
Signing out. Peace.
So instead I took them to the Sanli Twin Village for dinner at a French restaurant because I studied abroad in Beijing 3 years ago. And that was one of our more popular places to go for good food and drinks.
Yeah, it was pretty nice to have some French food. I had steak, which I haven't had the privilege to eat much here in Shanghai. And we mainly just tried to shelter from the rain. It was like torrential downpour.
So there's a Chinese saying called guyu, which means like basically at around that time, it's if the emperor does his sacrifices to the gods appropriately and he shows humbleness to the gods, then they will reward him and his people with rain on that date.
Yeah, on the exact day that we were there that it happened to rain. So and it was just that day, and it was like predicted, and people were happy because it meant it's gonna be a prosperous year and crops, lots of crops and whatnot. So good for them, but not so good for us tourists. Anyways, luckily we didn't end up going to the Great Wall that day because we would have been totally miserable, I think. So we went the following day, and we went to the Badaling sections, and I had already been there a couple of times. And he says it's although it's been restored for the most part, it's supposed to have the best views. But this is what we saw for the first part of our hike up the Great Wall. Okay, ni hao. Here we are, looking as touristy as can be. Dad's got a sweatshirt too. He's just hiding it.
Take a picture. Get over there, take a picture like Michael Jackson.
We're on the Great Wall at the Badaling section, as you can see by the stones. But unfortunately, what you cannot see is the beautiful view because of all the fog.
Take a picture.
Okay, we will. So, unfortunately, this is the only day we have to see the wall here on this short weekend, and it's really foggy. But it could be worse, could be raining. Yesterday was foggy and rainy, so, I mean, at least we can say we climbed the Great Wall. Sennett has a sweatshirt to prove it. Start over. Can't see nothing. So the good thing about it being kind of cold and foggy was that there weren't a lot of people there. Actually, when we first got there, maybe around 10 in the morning, it was still early, so we it didn't feel crowded at all. And luckily, by the stroke of noon, literally at noon, the clouds parted, and all of a sudden the fog just lifted, and you could see, and it was kind of just a little bit at first, and then bang, Great Wall. Okay, so it cleared up on the Great Wall. Afternoon here today. Still a little bit hard to see. I'm gonna try to zoom in. All right. There's part of the wall in the distance. It looks much better in person. It was pretty awesome. Yeah, I was like snapping photos like a mad woman, so that was getting kind of annoyed. But it really is something to see. Like, definitely put it on your bucket list if you haven't gone. It is a wonder of the world, and definitely worth the hike.
And then later on that day, we went and saw my aunt. I hadn't seen her in about 3 years. She's looking really good and happy, and also she's pregnant.
Expecting.
Yep. So we had dinner at the famous Beijing Duck restaurant. It's like this huge palace with like endless halls of dining room. Yeah. They bring the duck out. You order how big you want your duck, like half a kilo or something.
I don't know.
Anyways, and then they bring out the duck and the chef will slice it for you
in front of you.
It's dead. It's already cooked.
Oh yeah, I would hope so. And apparently, like, even though it's not the fanciest restaurant, according to Sennett's aunt's husband, who is a Beijing local, it is the best place. He said it throughout his life. It's the best Beijing duck he's ever had.
Yeah.
So we were like really happy to be there. Like Sennett said, they cut it up and then they like give you duck in all kinds of ways. Like eat the meat, you wrap it up in these kind of tortillas with the sauce and green onions, and it's like amazing. Like just the perfect amount of fat and juiciness and crispiness. Like you if you've even had it in the U.S., it's not the same. I can tell you that.
They like use every part of the duck except for the innards, which is good, I guess.
Yeah.
And so they will fry up the bones part of the duck and put some really good
like
seasoning
rub,
on it. And then they obviously give you duck soup and parts of the skin as well, because the skin is like almost the best part because it's crispy and it's fatty and really oily. And
it was amazing. My parents were loving it. Like, we've never had duck like that. Like my mom said, best duck in her life. Anyway, we got to see two of Sennett's friends from back study abroad, back at McAllister. So that was nice, a little reunion. Otherwise, our last day, we just kind of chilled. We did this tour, this great tour in the Temple of Earth Park. It was a traditional Chinese medicine and Qigong tour. It was a really, really great tour. First of all, the park was beautiful, and it was like filled with activities. All these older people doing all kinds of exercise. First of all, there's like this giant like adult jungle gym, pretty much. People like, there was a woman hanging upside down, patting her butt, like that was her exercise. And there's like all these old people doing all kinds of strange stretches or just tapping themselves. And
there were people doing voice exercises or something. Just just screaming or like mumbling words and
then there was like they do this walnut thing. It's kind of creepy. The old men, they just hold walnuts and like go like this. And there was a man in a trench coat like walking in the trees, and all of a sudden he came out just doing this. It kind of scared us, and then he was laughing. I thought it was pretty funny. But anyways, a bunch of stuff. Here, check out some videos.
For a film.
Yeah, a lot of it's think about the concepts of exercise, and these kinds of things these old ladies are doing. In the West, we wouldn't consider that exercise. Remember the rusty hinge, just moving the body. It's normal, right? Here in the pink, the teacher up front.
park is really the place to be in the early mornings in China. People love getting up early, working out, and regulating. They're on the schedule and they're keeping healthy. And we learned a lot about the traditional Chinese medicine and like the seasons and the teas that you're supposed to drink and your qi. And me and my mom especially got really into it. Now we want to like join classes. Actually, my mom started qigong class in Pewaukee, so pretty sweet. And we did a little 20-minute qigong in the grass in the park, and it was pretty awesome. And yeah, I kind of want to start getting into it, regulating. And unfortunately, we didn't make it back to the Forbidden City because the last day we were there was actually a really sunny, nice day. So of course that meant all the tourists in Beijing like crammed into the Forbidden City, and the line was just, you know, endless. So if we would have waited, we would have had to literally run through the Forbidden City, and we thought it wasn't really worth it. Instead, we got some more crab apples. My dad's new obsession is candy crab apples on a stick. He was in love with those. Had lunch and walked around and headed back to Old Shangers. So that was our nice weekend. Glad I got to see a new city. Glad I got to see the capital. I do think I like Shanghai more. Sorry to you Beijing fans. Our next vlog is going to be about our trip to Hong Kong and our visit from our friend Noah. Thanks for tuning in again.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.